All right. What's going on, party people? This your man Grill. Back in the deep recesses of Chesapeake, Virginia. Way out here. Doing a quick house inspection. And all of that. And it's just... What's going on, buddy? It's just amazing how people got stuff going on. You tell them why you there. And they're looking at you like, so why are you here? And I'm like... Okay, I'm here because y'all asked for a house inspection. And why did we ask for that? I'm like, come on. And I said, for this such and such bank. Oh, okay, yes. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking. I'm like, you knew what I was talking about already. Man, it's a trip. But yeah, man, look, last night on Clubhouse, that was lit. I was nervous about it because y'all know what my mindset is when it comes to notary stuff. I'm not for trying to constantly sell things and all of that. I know there needs to be compensation, with regards to people's time and effort and all of that. But I didn't want to be in something that the whole time you on the Clubhouse, all you doing is every time somebody say something, well, hit me up for a consultation. And I have to give credit, daggone it. Always gotta adjust this. There we go. Brightness. But Nikia and Lori, they did a great job. I have to give them 100% kudos. So I would say hop on their Clubhouse, chat it up with them. I'm most definitely going to have them on YouTube, either together or one at a time, and just let them have it. Just share whatever they desire to share to help notaries out, to understand things, and all of that. And actually it's going to be good because they come from two different perspectives, where Lori, she's still working her W-2 but running it part-time. And then I believe she said Nikia is actually doing the business full-time, and she's rocking and rolling like me from the number of signings. She's doing a buttload of signings a month and everything, so she's popping a little bit more money than what I'm doing from the notarial standpoint, and I'm trying to bring in my money from multiple places and everything. Now, if I wasn't doing the house inspections, then yeah, I would be doing a lot more notarial work. I will be doing a lot more and everything, but it's working out for me. I like it. I like the house inspections. For me, it's a good break to be able to make the money doing the house inspections and then and still do the notary stuff. But the Clubhouse was very, very good. I enjoyed it. Great questions. They had some topics that I'm like, okay, I didn't think other people was thinking in the same direction, and come to find out they are. So when y'all get a chance, I'm gonna try to remember to put it in the description here, but it's already on my community tab. My most recent community post, a video from Eric Thomas. All I got to say is simply this. You got to ask yourself, what he's talking about in there, is that you? Because we're trying to get to the top of our game with this business and other businesses. And I will give you a synopsis of what he's sort of talking about in there, or what he is talking about in there. He's talking about how you roll on social media. And if you're not rolling the right way on social media, the way you're doing your social media isn't right, isn't correct, has the wrong vibe to it, the wrong aim and focus, people are not going to take you serious. And what you do on social media is so important. I remember when I was working in Maryland, I was commuting from Virginia to Maryland for 4 years. And I heard stories of what they call the WTOP, that radio station up there, and they was talking about the importance of making sure your social media is straight. They did a story where they found out that people who was trying to be correctional officers, they weren't being hired. They weren't allowed to be a correctional officer, and this was young men and women, because they had gang affiliations. Well, in the interview process, they were, and this is not just indicative to Maryland, I'm just telling you where I heard it from. So I'm not saying Maryland is the only place that does this. So they're doing their interview, and while they're doing their interview for the person, and basically to tell them we're not going to hire you, and they're trying to get them to come clean, they flip around the screen and show the person that their social media pages with them doing gang symbols and hanging out with gang members. And now you're talking about you want to be a correctional officer. Goodness, my fingers. Hold on. Sorry about this, y'all. I just have this thing. There we go. I like my stuff well lit and everything. So, they're like, yeah, you said in your application that you had no gang affiliations. Turn the monitor around. What's this? You with this person, with that person. They was locked up 6 months ago. They locked up now. And you got pictures of you with this gang person, and you want to work in a correctional facility. Where they at? Come on now. So your social media is very important. And one of the things that I learned is that you gotta sort of do the separation of your personal versus your professional. And a lot of people don't want to have two accounts. And I learned this about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I'm sorry, 4 years ago, with through my wife at where she was when she first started working, getting her business started, and there was a stylist in the suite rental building, and the stylist is good. And you would go, and the only way they advertised was saying, hey, go see me on Instagram. So one day I said, well, let me go take a look at him on Instagram. I go to Instagram, and oh my Lord, everything they had up there was them half naked, them going out, them drinking, and just a little bit of their hair business. And I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on here? And then I was talking to some other buddies of mine that's big on, what was it, Instagram and Twitter and all of that. And I have all those accounts, but I wasn't big on them back then. And they was like, yeah, that's a lot. You see that a lot. Somebody saying, yeah, I run a business. And then you go to their page, and it's all this stuff with their kids, with they going out on dates and ... and very little of their business. And I was like, okay, got it. And I was like, they're not willing to separate. I said, but can't they have a separate page for that? They're like, yeah, they can do that, but most people don't want to because that's too much for them to manage, or they feel that's too much for them to manage. I said, got it. So he's talking about that in there, but that video is very, very good. Stay the course. I'm serious. Stay the course. Don't give up. And that was one of the things that I was saying last night. And as I said in the video, I think yesterday or the day before, take personal responsibility for your notarial education. Because one of the questions I believe Lori had asked, and it was a very good one. Who's responsible? Is it the trainers responsible for making sure that they put the right information out, or that you don't take a course that's not applicable to you? Or is it the notary responsibility? And I said, in my opinion, I think it's both. The notary should make sure that they're taking training or anything that they do take, and I've said this multiple times, that any training you take does not divert you, steer you away from your state laws. Well, you won't know that unless you understand and know your state laws. Well, where's the biggest organization that can help you with your state laws is the NNA. So if the notary trainer isn't going to help you with the state law, then you need to get with your state handbooks and all of that. And you need to get, they really constructed. And you need to get with the NNA to help you understand those state laws. So once you understand your state laws, now anything that somebody teaches you cannot cause you to violate those state laws. So to me, the trainer now has to say, do you understand your state laws? Okay, good. And then they have to make sure that whatever they teach, they give the proper disclaimers to a person saying, okay, well, this here may not work in your state. Or if they definitively know that it won't work in their state, then you have to say so. That's where the trainer comes in and put the word out. Man, that would be a nice building to rent. That would be, that's where the trainer, in my opinion, comes in and said, okay, I want the best for these people. So because I want the best for them, I got to make sure that the information I give doesn't cause them to violate their state law. I'm not going to just leave it up to them to say, hey, I'm just saying this information, and then you make sure that it's applicable. You can do that, but at the same time, you got to give people the option not to even sign up for your course to find out that it's not applicable. And too many times people are signing up for the course and finding out that the stuff that you're teaching isn't applicable. Now, granted, a lot of these guys and ladies, they'll do the money back guarantee, give you your money back. But sometimes it's best to, hey, how about I not have to spend the money in the first place? And there's and one of the sales tactics or techniques that I learned, heard of many years ago was that, have people sign up for stuff, because a lot of times they're too lazy to go back and request their money if they find out that something's not for them. So if you got 200 people a month signing up for something and 75 say, you know what, this ain't for me, out of that 75, you probably have more than 50% won't even take the time out to ask for their money back. That's where the problem comes in, So you out this money, and they got the money, you don't have the money, and now you got to go still pay for training or find training that can support you. That's why I always say you have to define what it is you're trying to get trained in, and so that way you'll know whether or not, okay, I thought something was going on. There's some vultures over there eating on something. I was just making sure there wasn't no kid playing over there on the side of the road. But you got to make sure that you know what you're getting in. And I would say the trainers need to put syllabuses out and really define what they're training and everything. And if what they're saying, if they definitively know, which I think at this point we should put the time in to know that what you're talking about doesn't work in a particular area, because we know each state is different, then that needs to be said up front. And that's what we was talking about last night on in Notary Cousins Clubhouse. That, and these are my words, so I'm not saying that they were saying it also and all of that, but I was saying that the notary trainer needs to say up front, hey, this is what I know, and this is where I know it works. I don't know if it works over here. That needs to happen. They need to give the proper disclaimers. People talked about regulations. How do you regulate some of these trainers to make sure that they actually are putting out stuff correctly? And I was saying, simply, I think it can work. I think there could be regulations, but the problem is the notary trainers And you see, that's the crazy part. These notary trainers aren't teaching you notary stuff. They're teaching you how to run a business. So you can't regulate. You can't say, okay, well, y'all fall under the NNA, or you should take some NNA training on how to teach, because some of these people don't know how to teach. You need to take some training from the NNA or somebody, notary group on how to mentor, because a lot of these people don't know how to mentor. The problem is they're not saying that they're trying to mentor you as an actual notary to do your notarial work. I'm not trying to teach you how to do your notary stuff. I'm teaching you how to run your business. To me, you can't run a business if you don't know how to be a notary, because being a notary is your business. But they split hairs that way, so therefore they're just out of the guidelines of being able to be regulated, because I'm really not trying to teach you how to be a notary. That's the NNA. So you go over there, but you come to me for this. And even coming to you for what you say I should come to you for, is it applicable where I'm at? Well, that's on you. You need to figure that out. So this is the quandrum that we're stuck with. So my suggestion to anybody out there, because the people still asking me, well, what's the training? What's the best training? I can't say what's the best training, because I've never taken all of these different trainings. What's the best way to get trained? The best is you use your brain and you go do the studying and researching for yourself, because there's a high chance that over 90% of the people who are teaching out there, they got their stuff from free sources. They got their information from free resources out there that's readily available to you. They got it out there. That's where they got theirs from. They opened up the book. They studied. They read. They inquired with the actual source of information, the NNA and other more experienced notaries, about how to do notarial stuff. Along the way, they learned about how to run a business. You can do the same. And they learned their state laws. Once you understand your state laws, now the question is, what else do I need to know, and properly define that, and then you find out how to do it. And in most cases, you can do it yourself. So I'm not trying to say you can't ever use a notary trainer or a mentor. You just have to make sure you define that specifically, so you're getting, I need some air. You need to define that so that you're getting the right value for your money. See, everybody's talking about what you're worth, but you're taking, second-rate, third-rate training. Okay, you always talking about what you're worth from a notarial standpoint. Pay me $200, but you're getting information that's not even applicable to you. So that devalues you, and then you're implementing stuff that you really can't or you really shouldn't. All right, put the hat back on. Head getting cold already. You know what you're saying? So you're asking for information or getting information that's not applicable to you, that doesn't really fit you, but then you want everybody to pay you this high fee. And the information that you've gotten has put you at a disadvantage, because it's not really properly teaching you how to be a notary, but you want $200, $300 a pop, and you can't do the proper notarizations. So if you're talking about you really truly value yourself, then you would value getting the right information for yourself so that you can be successful in your business. It's not always about the hype. It's not always about the marketing. It's about being able to sit there and get the job done. And that's what's missing right now. You've taken all these trainings, you've gone this, that, and the other. I've been hearing stories about people when you're trying to market yourself to title companies and stuff. Some of them don't like that. I mean, with the COVID and all that, and you bring in donuts, they don't know where that stuff been at. They got a responsibility. That owner got a responsibility to make sure his people not getting sick. Because if you give them something and it gets them sick, and now they out of work, and now that company suffers because they done ate something and it made them sick. You know what I'm saying? And then, again, you still got to be careful about all this giving gift stuff. because as as officers of the state, you might be considered, it could be considered bribery in some states. Some states frown upon government officials, because that's what we are, an officer of the state, going around giving people stuff in order to get something back in return. That's frowned upon. You need to check into your state laws on that and see if that's allowed. Because you're not, you say, well, that's marketing. Is it marketing? Because you're not doing that for every client. You're not doing that to the signing companies. You're not marketing yourself that way to the signing companies, sending them Dunkin' Donut, gift cards via email, because you get their contact info. You're not doing those things. So you say it's marketing, but you're only doing it to specific people. It might not be viewed as marketing. Okay, so you need to look into the legalities of that. That's your responsibility. You got to look into the legalities of these kind of things. So on Clubhouse, we really had a great time. I mean, we was getting down and dirty. Most of y'all probably seen the article I put up this morning about hustling versus entrepreneurship. I don't look. This is the way I look at hustling versus entrepreneurship. When I think of hustling, I think of 50 Cent. When I think of entrepreneur, I think of Master P. If you look at Master P's background and what he's built, that man's an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. You look at 50 Cent and how he runs things, people will always call him a hustler. That's just the truth of the matter. So 50, I know you like to be rolling up on people and all of that kind of stuff. So, it is what it is. But I mean, the truth of the matter is he's the ultimate hustler. Hustlers look for, how to get their money. And you can see that because anybody that owes 50, what he doing? He's suing them. Suing them for $50,000. Okay, it's probably going to be $100,000 in lawyer fees, but you just suing them because you owe me money. I mean, that's what hustlers do. Hustlers are constantly trying to get every dime out of everybody. But entrepreneurs focus on building relationships. Now, I was just thinking something. And entrepreneurs are trying to build relationships. So I know a lot of people are constantly calling themselves, I'm a hustler. Look, there ain't been a time yet that I've seen a person who is truly a hustler and trying to really grow what they're doing didn't have to turn into an entrepreneur and stop being a hustler and actually be an actual entrepreneur. And the person that I would give you as an example of that would be Jay-Z. Jay-Z was actually hustling. I mean, he was a hustler and he still hustles. But at some point, that brother turned it into his stuff into a regular business and became a true businessman and entrepreneur. They don't ask hustlers to be part owners of stuff. They ask entrepreneurs. And if y'all reflect back, you'll remember which to me they wasn't matching. Daggone Jay-Z and his crew had on stripes, plaid, and polka dot. I'll never forget that. I was like, okay, you don't mix stripes, plaid, and polka dot together. But they basically was all right, that's my phone, and that was an order. And where the heck is my phone? Oh, right here. He had to switch on how he dressed, on how he spoke, on everything. He changed up some stuff. In other words, they're not asking hustlers. The first. All right. I will hopefully get that. All right. That's a C Note 25. All right, cool. So for next month, whenever the first is, I don't even know what day it is. But my point is this. You never hear entrepreneurs saying, man, I need to learn I need to go back and be a hustler. You never go from being an entrepreneur down to a hustler. It's always, okay, you're a hustler, you're out there. Now you got to go legit, and you got to take your thing from being a hustler to an actual business, into an entrepreneurship. That's and I'm not saying you can't start off being a hustler. What I'm saying is you got to get to a point of building proper business relationships, and hustlers don't try to build those. Hustlers ain't trying to be with you that long. I'm just trying to get paid. I'm just trying to get what I can from you, and that's it. They're getting the bare minimum from you. Well, you getting the bare minimum out of them. They're trying to get the maximum out of you. All right, hold on one second there, little trucky. And okay, that's my thing. So I hustle, but I'm not a hustler. And that's why I say read that article and you will see the difference. And most people, if you open your mind, you'll recognize the difference. But I know it's for people feel it's classy or cool to just constantly call themselves, I'm a hustler, because they don't, they like, hey, I'm from the streets and I'm this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay, but you don't see Jay-Z doing that kind of stuff. You don't see him still doing that. And even daggone 50 Cent, he had to clean his act up. And that's what I'm saying. Hustlers eventually got to stop being a hustler and actually be an entrepreneur and get stuff organized legitimately. And stop trying to do stuff always on bootstrap. Stop always trying to do stuff off on the side and under the table, and just go head on and get yourself in there legitimately, because you could honestly grow this business and people going to want to be with somebody who has their business under sound business practices, so that as they grow theirs, there's no issues. That's why Jay-Z had to clean himself up for a couple of years before he became part owner. He couldn't come as a part owner with the street stuff. And there's going to be opportunities for all of us that if we do this thing right, we can become partners in things. Okay, we can become part owners of title companies and signing companies and all of that. And you can't go out here trying to be a hustler running a signing company and dealing with people. Okay, because the people that you're trying to that you have, these notaries, they aren't corner boys for you. Okay, you can't have your notaries out there acting like corner boys. So you got to do this stuff right. That's why, again, I suggest, and it's a great book. I'm started reading it. The Signing Service Secrets by Gary Pierre Lewis. Read that book. I'm telling you, get to a point of doing things legitimately. And I will say this. I'm going here and grab the wife so we go our chiropractic appointment. The more legit you strive to be, the harder it is for people to take advantage of you, because you're going to always be concerned about protecting your brand and what you've built. But when you're just out here just flinging it, just trying to get paid, you ain't worried about a brand, because I might not be doing this that much longer anyway. Once I make my money back, I'm out. You see what I'm saying? So now is the time for you to make that decision. Are you going to be, and I, we've been talking about this with the members. Are you going to be an entrepreneur, or are you going to just continue to be a hustler? And there's nothing wrong with that. You can be one or the other. You just have to make sure you define within your own mind how you're going to be, because I guarantee you, most of the people who are telling you, don't take this order, don't take that order, they got the mindset of a hustler. But when you're talking about a business owner, business owners look at, okay, how can I build relationships? So doing this $50 order, doing this $85 order, doing this $100 order could build a relationship between me and this company who's funding me this here, who's feeding me this. I'm gonna see what I can do. It might be a short-term relationship, but I'm gonna have a relationship with them. So that's why being a business owner, you create business relationships. There's no such thing as hustler relationships. That's not even a term. Okay. So think on these things that I'm talking about and make your decision as to how you're going to rock and roll. And I will leave you with this. The hardest thing to do for any adult is to do the right thing. That is the hardest thing. And sometimes for some of you, the right thing to do is to break away from the masses. Break away from the masses and do the things necessary to build your business. And it may not look like what everybody else is doing, but it's what you need to be doing. And you need to stand on that and don't worry about the rest of them. That's how I built my business. That's how my wife is doing hers. And it works. When you do what you need to do, but you got to take ownership and study and research and find out what it is you need to do, how you need to do your pricing, all of that. That's within you to figure out. And then you pull on people such as myself, Lori Nikia, Abnormal Notary with the apostille, the Lady Judy with the apostille, the Bill Sorokas, all of them and everybody else out there who's being legit to help you. Then you'll get the right dish to move your business forward. You're getting a whole lot on your plate, but very little of it is able to help you move forward because you don't really know what you want. You don't know who you are. All right. Well, I'm going here and get the wife. We're going to get these chiropractic things so I can keep doing my little thing and all of that. Got my twins. Everything's good, y'all. Peace.